thing. My sister pretended she was dying just so she could sleep with my husband, claiming it was her final wish. I believed her. I even helped make it happen. And when I discovered the truth, I organized her funeral and invited every single person she deceived. My name is Vanessa, and 3 months ago, I was the fool who thought a terminally ill sister deserved one last piece of happiness. Now, I'm standing inside a funeral parlor I rented for $600. Watching my sister, very much alive, walk straight into her own memorial service. But I need to rewind a bit. It all began on a Tuesday. I had just walked through my front door from therapy when my sister, Claire, called me, crying. This was different. Shattered. Unfiltered. Claire and I were never especially close. We grew up under the same roof, but we were complete opposites. She was reckless. I was dependable. She'd only call when she needed cash or a couch to crash on. But something about her voice made my stomach sink. I drove straight to her tiny apartment. When she opened the door, my heart nearly stopped. She'd lost so much weight. Her cheekbones jutted out. Her eyes looked sunken and empty. She collapsed into my arms right there in the doorway. We hadn't hugged in 5 years. "I have cancer," she whispered. "Stage 4. Pancreatic." The world tipped sideways. Pancreatic cancer. The one that takes people in months, not years. "When did you find out?" I asked. 2 weeks ago, she said. Thick. I've been trying to figure out how to tell Mum and Dad. I looked around her messy apartment. Dishes piled high, clothes everywhere. She'd been unraveling, and I hadn't even known. "What's the treatment plan?" She just shook her head. "It's too far gone. Chemo might give me a few extra months, but the quality of life would be awful. I want to live whatever time I have left." I should have asked for doctors' names, for test results, for any proof at all. But I was drowning in shock and grief. "How long?" I asked. 3 to 6 months, she said. "Maybe less." That's weak. I moved in with her. My husband of 4 years, Ryan, was supportive. "Family comes first," he said. "Claire needs you." Ryan was a good man, the kind of steady presence that felt like safety, so I left him to take care of my dying sister. The first week was brutal. On good days, we watched movies and ate ice cream. On bad days, she cried over all the things she'd never get to do. "I wasted so much time," she said one night. "I was always waiting for my life to begin, and now it's ending." Ryan came by twice a week with groceries and corny jokes. Claire always seemed brighter when he was there. I thought she was just grateful for the company. Then came the night that changed everything. I had fallen asleep on the couch when I heard her voice from the bedroom. "I need to say this before I go," Claire said to Ryan. "I know it's awful, but I won't get another chance, to be honest." My breath caught in my throat. I froze, my hand pressed against the doorframe as my entire world split apart. "Claire." Ryan's voice was quiet, torn. "This isn't fair. Don't lecture me about fairness." There was a long pause. "Things were different," Ryan began. "But they aren't," she cut in. "I just needed you to know. I needed to matter to someone." "You matter to Vanessa," he said. "She loves you." "Vanessa loves out of responsibility, not choice," Claire replied softly. "But you could have chosen me. In another life, you could have." Another heavy silence. Then, Ryan whispered, "Yes." "In another life?" "Yes." I slipped away into the bathroom and just stared at the wall. When I came out, Ryan was gone and Claire was asleep. I didn't confront either of them. I told myself it didn't matter. She was dying. What damage could it do? 2 weeks later, Claire brought up her bucket list. My stomach twisted. I knew what was coming. Someone like Ryan, too, broke down crying. Jet. I know it sounds crazy, Nessa, but I'm never going to fall in love. Never have that one perfect night. What if I die without ever knowing what that feels like? You want to sleep with my husband? I asked. I'm asking you to give me one moment of happiness before I stop existing. I should have said no. I should have called her manipulative and cruel. But she looked so small, so fragile. I imagined her fading away, bitter because I denied her this one thing. 2. I don't have time. She sobbed. My sister Claire was dying. My sister Claire was dying, and she had one last wish. She wanted to spend a night with my husband, Ryan. When she first told me, the guilt hit me like a physical blow. She said she was running out of time, and I was being selfish. And what did it really matter? One night, a gift to someone who would never get another chance. So I told her, let me talk to Ryan. The nights, I went home for the first time in weeks. Ryan was playing video games. He paused when he saw me. Hey! Didn't know you were coming home tonight, I told him. We need to talk. His face tensed up, the way men's faces do when they sense something bad is coming. I explained everything. Claire's confession, her request, her reasoning. Watch his expression shift through shock, confusion, and anger. She asked you directly, he said. Yes. And you're actually considering this. I don't know what I'm doing, I told him. I'm just trying to give my sister something before she dies. He stood up, paced around the room. Vanessa, this is insane. You can't seriously be asking me to. I'm not asking you to do anything, I said quickly. I'm telling you what, she asked. I need help figuring out if this is compassion or if I've lost my mind. He sat down and buried his face in his hands. When he looked up, his eyes were red. I care about Claire, I really do. But she's your sister. You're my wife. This would destroy everything. Everything's already going to be destroyed when she dies, I replied. At least this way, she gets one good thing first. You'll never forgive me, he said quietly. Or her. Or myself, I admitted. We sat in silence. Finally, he said, if I said yes, it would be for you, not for her, because you asked me to. But Vanessa, I'm begging you not to ask. But Claire wouldn't let it go. She brought it up every few days, crying, begging, telling me I was cruel, that I was denying her dying wish. You'll never forgive yourself, she'd say. You'll spend the rest of your life knowing you could have made me happy, and you chose not to. Slowly, I started to believe her. The guilt became unbearable. Every time I saw her getting weaker, I imagined her dying with this one regret. I finally broke. One night, I told her. One night, and then we never talk about it again. She hugged me so tightly, I could barely breathe. That evening, I told Ryan. He went pale. Are you sure? No, I said. But I'm doing it anyway. When? Friday. I'll stay at our place. You'll go to her apartment. One night. Thatsy. He looked like he was going to be sick. But Friday came. And he went. I stayed home, drank an entire bottle of wine, and stared at the ceiling, trying not to imagine what was happening 6 miles away. He came home at 4 a.m. I pretended to be asleep. He showered for 30 minutes, scrubbing her off, scrubbing away what he'd done. We never spoke of it again. I moved back in with Claire. She was glowing, happy in a way I'd never seen before. She thanked me constantly, told me I was the best sister in the world, and I hated her. But I smiled, made her soup, and held her hand. Then the strange things started. First, I caught her eating an entire pizza. When she saw me, she tried to hide it. The hospice nurse said it's okay, she said quickly. A day. Then I found her rearranging furniture, dragging the couch across the floor. Should you be doing that? I asked. I'm just having a good day, she replied. But the good days were becoming more frequent. She looked healthy. I mentioned it to Ryan. I think the doctors might have been wrong. She seems better. He just nodded, refusing to meet my eyes. Our marriage was a hollow shell. Then came Thanksgiving. Claire insisted on hosting, on cooking. She made a full turkey dinner, lifting the heavy pan out of the oven like it was nothing. Something felt deeply wrong. That night, while she was in the bathroom, I searched her apartment. I looked for medical records, pill bottles, anything. There was nothing. No medication. No paperwork. My hands shook as I searched her bathroom. Shampoo, makeup, and birth control pills. Why would someone with 3 months to live be taking birth control? I took a photo of the label. In the back of her closet, behind a stack of shoes, I found a folder. Inside were printouts, articles from the internet. Not about cancer treatments, but articles on how to fake a terminal illness. My blood ran cold. I realized my sister wasn't dying. She was lying. I found a folder in my sister Claire's apartment. It was filled with research on pancreatic cancer. Symptoms, treatments, survival rates. It looked like someone studying for an exam. But there were no medical records, no doctor's notes, no diagnoses. Just research. My blood went ice cold. 2. I walked into the living room and dropped the folder on the coffee table. Claire came out of the bathroom and froze. What's that? She asked. I just looked at her. You tell me. She tried to deflect, asking about my doctor's appointments, but I cut her off. None of this adds up, I said. You're getting stronger, not weaker. You're eating normally, moved furniture yesterday. And there isn't a single medical record in this entire apartment. She claimed they were at our parents' house, but I knew that was a lie. I'd already tested the waters with Mum, and she had no idea anything was wrong. Her face went through a series of emotion panic calculation, and then, bizarrely, relief. Okay, she said. You're right. I'm not sick. I lied about everything. The room started to spin. I couldn't process her words. I was desperate, she said. I've been in love with Ryan for years. I knew he felt something too, but he'd never act on it because of you. I just thought, what if I could have one night? You faked cancer, I whispered, horrified. You faked terminal cancer so you could sleep with my husband. She tried to justify it, saying she just wanted me to see her, to care about her for once. But I couldn't hear it. You are a monster, I said. A real one. She begged me not to tell anyone, to just move on. Everyone thinks you're dying, I told her, my voice shaking with rage. You made me watch my sister die for 3 months. You made me give you my husband because I believed you had 3 months left. But I'm not dying, she said weakly. That's good news. We can be happy now. That was it. I grabbed my bag and started packing my things. I was going home. I was going to tell Ryan, then I was going to tell our parents, and everyone else she had deceived. You wouldn't, she gasped. I just looked at her. Watch me. I flew home, my mind racing. Ryan was on the couch when I burst in. She's not sick, I said. She lied. She faked everything just so she could sleep with you. I watched the horror and then pure rage cross his face. He stood up, sat down, stood up again. I'm going to kill her. Get in line, I replied. V talked about calling the police, but that didn't feel like enough. Or to do something worse, I said. He looked at me, really looked at me, and asked what I was thinking. And that's when the idea formed. Beautiful. Terrible. Perfect. She made everyone believe she was dying, I said. So let's let her die. A funeral. A memorial service. We plan the whole thing. Invite everyone she lied to. And we make her stand in front of all of them and hear what they have to say. A slow, cold smile spread across Ryan's face. When do we start? We spent the next week planning. I called the funeral home in our hometown and rented the space for a living memorial, explaining we wanted her to hear how much she meant to people. Then, I started calling everyone. A totem. Claire had taken a turn for the worse, and we wanted to gather for one last celebration of her life while she was still here. The response was overwhelming. 60 people confirmed. My parents booked flights. Friends drove in from out of state. I asked everyone to prepare a memory or a message for Claire. The guilt campaign was working. I didn't tell Claire until 3 days before. I showed up at her apartment and saw she was packing. Planning to run? I wanted to talk about Saturday, I said. What Saturday? Your funeral. The color drained from her face. Not a real funeral, a memorial. At Riverside Funeral Home. Everyone you lied to will be there. Everyone who sent you money, everyone who cried for you. They all want to say goodbye. Sis is insane, she choked out. No, I said calmly. What you did was insane. This is justice. She swore she wouldn't go, but I held all the cards. If you don't show up, I told her, I'd tell everyone the truth anyway. At least this way, you get to control the narrative. I left her sobbing on her couch. On Saturday, Ryan and I drove to the funeral home. The parking lot was full. Inside, it looked just like a real memorial service. There were rows of chairs, a photo of Claire on an easel, and flowers everywhere. People were hugging, crying, mourning a person who was very much alive. My plan was in motion, and there was no turning back. Thanks for watching. If you want to hear how the funeral went, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss it. My husband, Ryan, nervously brushed my arm. What if she doesn't show up? I looked at him, my voice steady. She's far too narcissistic to miss her own funeral. And right on cue, at 1:57, the doors swung open. In walked my sister Claire, dressed in black, makeup flawless, hair perfect. She scanned the room, the flowers, the crowd, her own memorial, her face a complete mask. My mother rushed to her, sobbing, "Oh, sweetheart, you're so brave for being here. We're all here for you." Claire hugged her stiffly. Then her eyes locked with mine from across the room. I saw fear. I saw anger. And I saw something much, much darker. People lined up to hug her, telling her they loved her, that she was so strong. She just accepted it all, like someone in a daze. At 2:15, the funeral director gave me a nod. It was time. I walked to the front, tapped the microphone. "Thank you all for coming," I began. "For those who don't know me, I'm Vanessa, Claire's sister. We're here today to celebrate Claire's life, to share memories and express our love for her before we lose her." A wave of sad nods went through the room. Claire asked me to organize this. She wanted to hear from all of you, to know what she meant to you. So, who'd like to go first? My mom went up, talking about Claire as a little girl, full of life. An ex-boyfriend cried through his speech about her courage. One by one, friends and families shared memories, tears, prayers, and goodbyes. And through it all, Claire sat in the front row, tears streaming down her face. But they weren't tears of gratitude. They were tears of shame. After about 20 people, I returned to the microphone. Thank you. Those were beautiful. I paused, letting the silence hang in the air. Claire, would you like to say anything? She looked up at me, her eyes pleading, begging me not to do this. I waited. Slowly, she stood, walked to the front, and took the microphone. Her voice broke. I don't deserve this, someone in the crowd called out. Of course you do, honey. No, she said, her voice shaking. You don't understand. I don't deserve any of this. The room fell silent. I'm not dying. A confused murmur spread through the crowd. Scared about the cancer. About all of it. I don't have pancreatic cancer. I'm not sick. I made it all up. The room just shouts of what? And that's not funny. Filled the air. I'm sorry, she cried, trembling. I manipulated you. Took your money, your time, your love, and I didn't deserve any of it. My mother stood up, her face a mask of confusion. Claire, what are you talking about? And then came the final blow. I faked terminal cancer, Mum. For 3 months, I let you all think I was dying. Because I wanted something I couldn't have. Someone shouted, what could possibly be worth that? Claire's eyes found mine. Then they shifted to my husband, Ryan, standing at the back of the room. I wanted my sister's husband. Dead silence. I was in love with Ryan, she continued, her voice barely a whisper. And I convinced myself that if I was dying, he'd give me one night out of pity, that Vanessa would allow it out of guilt. So I faked cancer. I destroyed my sister's marriage for one night with a man who never wanted me. The room erupted in fury. People shouting about the money they'd given her, the time they'd wasted. I know, Claire cried. I'll pay it back. I'll do whatever it takes. I hate myself. My father stood up, his face red with rage. You're not my daughter, he said, and walked out, grabbing my mother's hand. The room emptied in minutes, leaving just the 3 of us. Claire, Ryan, and me. She looked at me, her voice bitter. Are you happy now? I said. Brah, I am satisfied. I've lost everything. Good, I replied. Now you know how it feels. Ryan and I walked out into the cold December air. 2 weeks later, I served Ryan divorce papers. He didn't fight it. We hugged goodbye, and it felt like closing a book I'd never get to finish. Claire called and texted for a month. I ignored it all. She even sent a letter, saying she was in therapy, that she was sorry I burned it. 3 months later, I ran into her at the grocery store. She looked thinner, haunted. Vanessa, she said, please. Can we talk? I just looked at her. No. She begged for 5 minutes. But some things can't be fixed in 5 minutes. Some things can't be fixed at all. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow 4 more stories. Against my better judgment, I followed her into the coffee shop. We sat in a quiet corner, the kind meant for conversations people don't want overheard. I'm moving, she said, to Oregon. I got a job at a non-profit. I'm starting over. I managed a week. That's good for you. I wanted to say goodbye, she continued, and tell you I understand now. What I did. Why it was so horrific. I thought I understood before, but I didn't. Not really. I'm in a support group. she said quietly. 4 people with personality disorders. Turns out I have narcissistic personality disorder. All those years, I thought I was just confident or independent. I was actually broken in a way that made me hurt people. That doesn't excuse what you did, I replied. I know, she nodded. I'm not trying to excuse it. I'm explaining because you deserve to know how your sister could do something so cruel. You're not evil, Claire, I said, the words feeling strange. You're damaged, and you damaged me. I know. And I'm going to spend the rest of my life trying to be better. Not to earn forgiveness, said, because I don't want to be that person anymore. After a long silence, I finally said, I hope you find what you're looking for in Oregon. I hope you find real peace, the kind that comes from healing. She reached across the table and touched my hand. I didn't pull away. I loved you, she said softly. As much as I was capable of loving anyone back then. Walk out of the coffee shop and out of my life. And I felt nothing. No anger, no sadness. Just emptiness. Maybe that was what came after the storm. 6 months after the funeral, I was still in therapy, still figuring out who I was without my husband. Without Claire, without the identity I'd built around being the dependable one. I started painting against something I'd loved in college but abandoned. It felt like reclaiming a piece of myself. I made new friends, people who liked me for who I was. Now, slowly, I started to believe I might survive this. One day, I got a message on Instagram from Claire. A photo of her by a waterfall in Oregon. She looked... The caption read, "Learning to be a person worth being." I almost deleted it, almost blocked her. Instead, I just liked it. Not forgiveness, just an acknowledgement that she was trying. A week later, Ryan, my ex-husband, called. "Hey," he said. "I wanted to check on you." "I'm surviving," I told him. After a moment, he said, "I miss you." Not romantically. I miss my friend. I miss that too, I admitted. "But I don't think we can go back." "I know," he said. "Take care of yourself, Vanessa." We hung up, and something loosened in my chest. Relief. The hardest part wasn't what Claire or Ryan did. It was realizing I'd spent years being who everyone needed me to be. The steady sister. The understanding wife. In doing so, I'd made myself small. That funeral wasn't just for Claire. It was for the version of me who believed love meant endless sacrifice. That version of me died that day. And maybe that was the point all along. 3 years later, I received a wedding invitation. Claire was getting married. A note was inside. "I don't expect you to come. I just wanted you to know I'm happy. Truly happy. I hope you found that too." I stuck it on my fridge the week of the wedding. Her fiancé Jeremy called me. "She's been anxious all week," he said. "She'd kill me if she knew I was calling, but I love her and she loves you. I think you both deserve the chance to move forward." On the morning of the wedding, I drove to Portland. The ceremony was in a botanical garden. I slipped into the back row as it began. When Claire exchanged her vows, she cried real tears. "I'm not perfect," she said. "I've done terrible things. But you saw something worth saving." I left before the reception, but I placed a gift on the table. Painting of 2 sisters as children, holding hands. On the back, I wrote, "2 new beginnings and second chances. I don't know if we'll ever truly be sisters again, but I know I'm free. Free of rage, free of resentment." That funeral destroyed something in both of us that needed to die, and maybe that's enough. 6 months later, Claire texted me. "Thank you for the painting. It hangs in our living room. I tell people it's from someone who knew me before I learned how to be human. Thank you for giving me the chance to try. I didn't reply, but I smiled. And I painted another picture. Thanks for watching. If this story touched you, please like and subscribe for more.